Guys, welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. I'm Matt.
And I'm Brian, and today we're bringing you an amazing video. We're in a beautiful garden here in Charlotte. Matt, tell them a little bit about this place.
We're at Tom and Lib Nunnenkamp's garden here, and it's called MapleWalk. Guys, we did an entire walkthrough on this place. I don't know if it's aired yet at the time of this top 5, but definitely go check out our full fall walkthrough of MapleWalk here in Charlotte. If you like this kind of thing, we'll probably come back in the spring and shoot again because there's so many cool plants here. And we just love enjoying gardens with lots of specimen Japanese maples in them. So today, me and my main man Brian here are bringing you the top 5 trees of the week, top 5 Japanese maples of the week at MapleWalk. Number 5.
Yeah, I mean, we were walking around here going, ooh man, look at that, look at that. We know you guys really enjoy seeing these beautiful specimens out here in the garden. And this one right here is absolutely beautiful. This is Acer palmatum Nishikawa. I mean, a beautiful, beautiful pine bark maple. I mean, just absolutely stunning to see one this size and in this beautiful fall color today.
Yeah, I mentioned this when we walked through, but I love when you see an older pine bark and it has pine bark on the outer growth. That's how you know you're seeing a really mature one, when that close to you branching already has that pine bark on it.
Right.
Gorgeous older specimen. I think Nishikawa is heavily underrated for its fall color. I mean, this thing really lights up the show for fall color, and I bet it could be one of our heat tolerant videos as well. It's very heat tolerant.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and the great thing about the pine bark maples, what I really think about them is they're truly like that 4-season maple. You know, right now we're at this peak fall color. That'll be gone here in a little bit, but then the show's not over. You get this amazing fissured bark underneath all of this. Just this knotted up bark. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the pine barks for that, because that winter interest that you would normally get with, like, say, a coral bark or something like that, you can get that with Nishikawa. I love that about it.
Oh, this thing's a beautiful specimen, especially when they start to get that fissured bark like this. Nishikawa, it only ages and only gets more beautiful. It's one of those plants that the more mature specimen you get, I mean, wow, it's a showstopper in any season.
Let's go on to the next one.
Number 4. Guys, next up on our top 5, we've got Acer palmatum Ryusum.
I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful. I love how they've got it staked up tall and then cascading and weeping over these beautiful rock formations right here out front. I mean, this is the way to do a Ryusum, right? I mean, this is beautiful.
This is Ryusum done right, for sure.
That's right.
I mean, awesome plant. You know, Talon keeps correcting me. He tells me I should call it Ryusei. Maybe we'll change that originally. I know in Japan it was called Ryusei. In America it was typically called Ryusen. The patent runs out, so it doesn't really matter anymore. We can call it whatever we want. This is an awesome specimen. Tom has staked this one up, I would say, to close to like 9 to 10 feet up, and just let it cascade down. Now, he has this rock formation around it, which really accentuates the shape, and it really adds a lot to this. Now, one of the reasons he's able to get by with this is because Ryusum is one of the most heat-tolerant maples as well. So it's really doing well, even with this rock around the base.
Absolutely. And we're just a little bit past its peak fall color, but you can look into this thing and see that it's got so many little colors going on. It's got some yellows, oranges, and reds in this. I think it's got a little bit of some of that high shade that kind of protects that fall color on it. It really carries out into the season here. I mean, we're in late November,
right.
So, you know, we're still getting fall color. Of course, we're here in Charlotte in 8B, I think is what he said in the zone here in this garden. It's absolutely beautiful. They got kind of a microclimate here. It's just, this Ryusum is just thriving, as you can see. You know, can you imagine this coming out in the spring? I mean, this thing's just absolutely beautiful.
I could imagine this one even out of leaf.
Right.
I mean, it's got some S curves in here. It's got a lot of characteristic going on here. It makes the perfect showpiece here in the garden over top of this rock work. I mean, you can see how much Tom and Lib have appreciated this plant because they've given it a real focal point here. It's almost like a garden art piece when you come into this garden.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really captures your eye, just this amazing structure that it has. I love how he's playing off of the stonework here out front. You've got a beautiful lawn out here in front of it here, so you can just walk right up to this beautiful stage here. It's got the perfect spot in this garden for it, and we had to bring this to you guys.
Let's go on to the next one. Number 3.
Guys, next up we've got this beautiful specimen you can see behind me here. We have Acer palmatum Osakazuki.
Oh my gosh. Osakazuki is always a showstopper in the garden for that fall color. I would say it's most people's favorite fall color Japanese maple.
Yeah.
and for good reason. It is electric red. We're actually, like Brian said, in late November here, so we're catching the tail end of the fall color, especially for some of the reds. But this Osakazuki is a gorgeous specimen. We love getting specimens on camera for you guys. This one's a showstopper. It had to make our top 5 list. Fall color is electric. It's very consistent, even here in the heat of zone 8. And a lovely specimen here in the MapleWalk garden.
Yeah, you know, I love getting these specimens on camera because sometimes it's hard to imagine, you know, if you've got a 1 gallon, maybe a 2 gallon, what is this tree going to look like when it gets of a good age? And this is like the perfect example of Osakazuki just making a huge presence out here. And, you know, the fall color is always that #1 thing you think of with Osakazuki, but I want to make a plug on its spring color too. This thing has some electric spring color. It has this bright, fresh green to it. Beautiful red flowers on that in the spring. I love Osakazuki and all the transformations it goes from its beautiful spring to summer and then fall. It makes a huge presence in the garden.
I've noticed if you have it in shade in spring, you can almost get like a mint green. I know Steve Bender in our podcast with Steve Bender, the Grumpy Gardener, he even mentioned the lovely bracts on the flowers and the samaras, just like you, and how against that mint green it gives it such an interesting pairing. Like he was joking about the collectors and how nerdy we are, and his point was that only we would capture how important it is that those little pink bracts on everything. But I agree, it's a great quality to have, and it's a fun plant in any season.
Yeah, you know, Osakazuki is a great cultivar. I think we all kind of know this one and love this one, but there's a lot of details to it that I think sometimes are overlooked. And as a plant collector, maple collector specifically, you know, when you really look into these different maples, you can see so many different characteristics that make them stand apart and kind of create what you love about that cultivar and why you would want to plant one here in your garden like this. This is absolutely beautiful. This garden today is just really lighting up. We're really enjoying our time here, and Osakazuki is a big star player.
You know, it's almost underrated for all those other characteristics because it is so famous for the fall color. It's like you're such a good free throw shooter that nobody paid attention to the rest of your game. Like it's the best at one thing, but it's got a lot going on.
Yeah, I love it. #2.
Guys, next up on our top 5 maples at MapleWalk this week, because there's so many here, we could come back and do a bunch of these. We've got Acer palmatum Villa Toronto. Now, check this fall color out.
I mean, this thing, we had to get it on camera. You know, the sun's just peeking through right here, just making this thing glow. I love that yellow to orange color that you can get with this cultivar. Absolutely stunning, and that smaller structure too. I think it's really interesting on a linear lobum like that. You can get up and close to it and really get in there and appreciate this tree.
It's always a little smaller and a little more vase shaped than other linear lobum styles. This was a selection named by Esfeld, and it was found in a garden there in Italy, and so it was named for Villa Toronto Gardens. Really cool selection. And I think it's one that has a place in any garden, especially for that smaller shape with a linear lobum. We get people that ask, especially after what is our linear lobum video, what's one of the smallest linear lobums I can be growing? And Villa Toronto fits that bill perfectly. Now, when this one leaves out in the early spring, you get some crazy colors. It can be almost like pink red.
Yeah, I love all the different variations of colors that this one can bring. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know, I've got a smaller garden. I know a lot of people have smaller gardens, and you're trying to cram in there as many different beautiful plants as you can. And I'm thinking, I don't have this in my collection. I definitely need Villa Toronto in my garden there in the rural gardens. But yeah, as you can see, it just has a beautiful shape to it. The structure on that is just very elegant. Plus you get that linear lobum leaf on it, which just gives it this nice, frilly, airy feel to it. I love that about these types of cultivars.
Oh, it is so cool. I love when a tree can go from that neon pink to almost a bronzing older growth to so many different changes. This one kind of malts throughout the spring. And then from all those color changes to this brilliant golden yellow behind us here in the fall.
Absolutely beautiful, man. I'm excited to show you guys the next one. Let's do it.
Number 1. Guys, check out this kyuhime, sometimes referred to as kyuhime yatsubusa. We listed as Acer palmatum kyuhime. This is a showstopper. He has an older, massive specimen here in the garden. This one's on a tie graft tabletop, so it's grafted high and just allowed to spread out. Now, Tom personally shapes this tree every year, and it is an amazing specimen. It had to be on our top 5. Acer palmatum kyuhime here in the MapleWalk garden.
I mean, this is a perfect example of what you can do with a dwarf like kyuhime. I mean, I loved hearing Tom's story about him pruning on this. He said he'll lay underneath this on his back and prune out all the crossing branches and everything just to give this absolutely magnificent shape. I've never seen a maple quite like this.
Right.
It really got me excited about this. I know in the comments you guys are going to say, wow, check out that guy who's going to freak out about this particular cultivar. But hey, I'm telling you, this right here is a showstopper. I mean, when you walk down the steps in this garden and you see this, you come around the corner, it takes your breath away. This is absolutely beautiful. I love this.
It's almost an unmatched specimen here in the South. You don't see them this big typically. Yeah. Very old specimen. When this one first leaves out in the spring, you're going to get a bright purple border with this. Low, compact dwarf, definitely smaller than wide. Now, Tom has pruned this one to take out conflicting branches, so he's definitely accentuating that tabletop plateau by elongating some of those branches. But an awesome older specimen of a low tabletop Acer palmatum kyuhime. We're getting a few splashes of that red and orange fall color. You typically get reds early, or oranges early and reds late on this one. I would love to come back and shoot this tree in the spring.
Oh my gosh.
When it has the purple border with the green eye. I can't imagine. And he has such a beautiful specimen here. There's no holes or patches in it.
Yeah.
It's so meticulously maintained, it had to be in our top 5.
I mean, you know, this is what it's all about. I love showing the diversity of maples. You know, we've showed you 5 different Japanese maples here in this garden, and each one of them is so unique, so different, and has its own, you know, place in every garden out there. I love that we can highlight these diversity in these plants. I mean, it's just spectacular to see them demonstrated out here in this beautiful garden today.
Guys, I hope you're loving this top 5 content. We've done top 5 japonicums on the Tom Cox Arboretum. Yeah. We've done top 5 flowering plants of the Tom Cox Arboretum. We've done top 5 everything. We got Brian's top 5, we got Matt's top 5, we got Jody's top 5. Check out our top 5s. They are every Monday. We love bringing you regularly scheduled content, and it gives us a creative avenue to really showcase some fun plants. So we hope you enjoyed this one here at MapleWalk Gardens in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's the home of Tom and Lib Nunnenkamp, and they've been so gracious to let us come out here and shoot. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, definitely like, subscribe, and share. Sharing this channel with your gardening friends is the best way for our channel to grow.
Yeah, this has been an exciting time. I really appreciate their hospitality and inviting us here to the garden and come and shoot today. And we hope you guys really enjoy all this content we're putting out here. Like Matt said, we're like scouring the earth for all the beautiful gardens we can find to bring you guys beautiful specimens like these. We really appreciate you guys watching. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.